Camera action!
How rude.
Okay. So we're going to start from the very beginning. Really start. Who is David Curle?
David Curle is 59 years old, from England, born in Warwickshire, which is the centre of England, went to school in Warwick, went to university in Coventry, has a degree in public administration, worked for Warwickshire County Council government for 43 years and has now taken early retirement, and here I am.
Damn. So could you tell us about the moment you first got interested in wrestling?
I must have been about 10 years old, and it was on the television on a Saturday afternoon, and my father was watching it, and I'd just come in from doing something else, and I sat down and watched it, and I thought how cool it was to watch. So I watched it the following week, and then I watched it every week. And at the age of 12, I then went to see my first event at the local spa centre. You had to be 15 if you were unaccompanied, and I pretended I was with the parent who was with a child in front and got in, so that was very good. And I've loved it ever since.
And when did you know you wanted to be a part of this world?
I think that was probably a few years ago when I became ill, and I spent a lot more time in the house. Facebook came on the scene, and there were lots of things about wrestlers and lots of people who were chatting, so I started to chat. I made friends with some people in Hong Kong, and we grew in friendship, and in 2010 I went out to meet them, and I saw where they were training, and they had an event, and it's gone on from there.
So the first place you started was in 01?
Mm.
So could you tell us about how is it working there? How is the environment, the people?
The people are very friendly. They might disagree when they say this, but they're very friendly. They are dedicated to creating a good wrestling federation and making it more popular than it is now. The difficulty is that people in Hong Kong do not like professional wrestling to any great extent. So although the population is 9 million, only about a couple of hundred people will turn up to see an event. And that's a shame, because the quality of the wrestling and the skill of the wrestlers and the time that they put into becoming good wrestlers is tremendous, and it really needs a better finish than just a couple of hundred. But we're working on it.
Yeah. Have you worked in other places besides 01 Hong Kong?
I've also made some friends with 4FW, which is one of the best federations in England, and they have a big training school. And so I've been down there. I also help on event nights with managing the crowd, and I also help with the merchandise stand as well. So yeah, so I'm involved with that as well. And of course I see all the wrestlers who come to visit from all around the world.
Where was the place you liked to work the most? If you don't want to say a company, probably this a place where you made a show.
Lisbon. I think it's all the same. I think I love being in Hong Kong. I want to go and live out there for a few months every year, particularly when it's winter and it's snowing in England. It's been really lovely to get to know everybody here in Lisbon, and I also have quite a few friends in England now who are either wrestlers or work with 4FW, and I'm just enjoying my time now.
And the place you liked the least, the one that you really hated and you swear to never go back?
Singapore. I wouldn't dream of that. No, Singapore is almost as nice as the other three places. No, I don't think there is anywhere that I wouldn't ever go back to again, wrestling connected. There's lots of places I would never go back to again that aren't wrestling connected.
Okay. So you're here in Portugal
Yes.
for a couple of days to
Yes.
spend a little bit with the students of
Yes.
CTW. And it's not your first time.
No, I was here in January.
So how did you come in contact? How did you discover this place?
On getting everyone to work together and to become better. The skills you learn from having an event will then help you to grow further and have your own proper events here in the hall.
So if, for example, you receive an invitation to be part of an event, would you accept?
Not a chance. Yes, of course. I would only be too pleased to come back and pay my €5 or €10 to come and watch. It will be really good. From what I've seen in the ring today, the students are learning quite quickly, and the skills that they've got there will develop into a proper wrestling federation, and the events will be really good.
Okay, thank you. So along your career, it's been what, a couple of years of career connected with wrestling?
Yes, really connected with it, other than watching, which I've done all my life. It's only that I've finished work that I've been able to spend more time to do more things, and one of the more things is to help with the wrestling.
So you definitely met several interesting people along the world.
Yes.
Could you speak a little bit about some of those, the most interesting you found?
For FW, have had quite a lot of wrestlers from around the world to come and wrestle for them, and I've been privileged to actually be able to say hello and shake hands with the majority of them. Finley was really cool. Prince Devitt, I shook hands with him, and we've had lots of other people who have really made the crowd cheer or boo and made the evening a really memorable evening. Having a star along to a show has been fantastic. In Hong Kong, I've met wrestlers from Taiwan. I know all of the wrestlers who work with Ho Ho Lan in Hong Kong wrestling, and that has been a privilege, and I'm honoured to say that I know all of them and all of the students here at CTW.
Have you ever seen one of those situations backstage or in the ring that will always be recorded in your mind?
Yes, I think probably going to Hong Kong in March 2011, that was just after I'd had a very major heart and lung operation. And actually being able to stand in the ring and do the announcements, even though I was in a tremendous amount of pain, was absolutely fantastic. And that will probably be the thing that I remember for the rest of my life, that from being in a hospital bed in October 2010 and standing in a wrestling ring in March 2011 is absolutely wonderful.
A lot of fans, especially here in Portugal, that the only product they receive is the American one, the WWE especially, don't know a thing about world of sports. Could you explain us a little bit about it?
World of Sports was a programme on Saturday afternoon on the commercial channel in Britain. It covered a number of different sports. They had racing on in the afternoons. Depending on what was on at the weekend, there might be athletics. But at 4 o'clock every Saturday afternoon, except on football cup days, you would have wrestling for about 50 minutes. Sometimes it was taped, sometimes it was live, but it was always interesting. It was usually 3 events, and if they hadn't got time to show all of them, you would miss the first round and then you would start from round 2. And it had a tremendous following for many years. It started being shown on television in 1955 and finished at the end of the 1980s.
What kind of events? Only British or all here?
Only British. The programme was also on a Wednesday evening in some parts of the country as well, and so you could have 2 lots of wrestling a week, but it was only British, even though towards the end the start of the programme would show people like Hulk Hogan at the start, but it was never American.
So what kind of well-known names would we see in that program?
Johnny Saint, Tony Sinclair, Adrian Street, Bobby Barnes. I can go on for ages.
Those classic ones.
Yes.
So, in all the matches that you announced, what was the greatest one, in your opinion? That you had the honor to be there, announce the wrestlers and see the match through the end?
I still think we're back at 2011, the March event with Hogan as the main event, and just being able to announce him and see the event through and then do the announcement at the end was absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
Okay. Of all the wrestlers we could have, if you could announce one match and see it to the end, whichever wrestler, whichever place, wherever you wanted, what match would it be?
I think I would have loved to have been involved in the World of Sport wrestling back in the 1980s when they started to introduce tag team matches, and they were always special events. And to introduce probably the Hells Angels against Tony and Ignatius Borg might have been probably the most exciting event I could have introduced.
Okay, to finish this, could you give a message or a little advice to all the fans that wish to one day become wrestlers?
It's not as frightening as it looks. You need to go to a wrestling federation where there is proper training, that the trainer is safe and takes you at a pace that you can actually work at. And if you can't do it to start with, just keep practicing.
Thank you. Before we close this...
Is this where I get my fee?
Probably. To thank you for coming, we have a little reward or punishment, depends on how you take it.
Oh dear.
Hello. Hello everyone. Hello
Hi,
there.
Ed, right?
This is for you. This is my
For me?
old mask.
This is yours though.
Years of story in this mask.
Fantastic.
But you are the right person for I give this mask. So this is for you.
How many years old is this?
4 years old.
Oh, fantastic. And
Yes.
how many events has this had?
A lot. A lot
Lots
of
of events.
Yes.
Well, that's absolutely fantastic, ladies and gentlemen. How about that?
E nós aqui terminamos a nossa entrevista. Thank you, David, for
My
coming.
pleasure, thank you.
Okay. Red, obrigado por
Deixa-me só
apareceres aqui.
posso dizer uma coisinha aqui na tua entrevista. Venham treinar wrestling aqui todos os fins de semana, sábados e domingos, das
Do meio-dia e meio até às 6h30, 7 ou 8, dependendo.
certíssimo. Foda-se.
And I shall be back in June.
Foda-se, caralho.
Folders Karate Pa.
Yeah, that's it.
E não se esqueça de visitar a nossa página de Facebook em facebook.com/CTWrestling. Visita também o Wrestling Notícias para todas as vossas notícias, vídeos e blogs, e venham ver os eventos do Red. E muito obrigado por nos receberem.
Estás gordinho, pá.